Sandgate was home to the moving pictures since 1910. The first silent pictures played at the first town hall in Kate Street, Shorncliffe, until it burnt down in the same year. They also played at the Sandgate Pier open-air theatre at what is now called Shorncliffe. Between the 1920s and 1950s, the pictures grew in popularity, hitting every Australian city. Almost every suburb had at least one picture theatre.
It seems strange when you think about it that a small place like Sandgate having 4 theatres.
The theatres were just about the main entertainment.
There were a lot of lovely movies at that time.
I went to the picture theatres every Saturday afternoon, and favourite movies was, at that stage, was anything with Roy Rogers and the Phantom cartoons, so you couldn't miss the cartoon, so we went every Saturday.
Bonaccord Theatre, built in 1922, was the first purpose-built picture theatre in Sandgate. First screening silent movies accompanied by a piano and sometimes a 4-piece band. The Jazz Singer, released in 1927, was the first talkie. The theatre stood on the corner of Rainbow Street and Hancock Street, Sandgate, where the service station now stands. It was a long, low building with an impressive facade and foyer. But in the theatre itself, it had a dirt floor and no ceiling linings. George Hancock owned the theatre. He closed it for major renovations in around 1932-33 and moved his operations temporarily to the Beach Theatre on Flinders Parade. When the Bonaccord reopened in 1935, it was more popular than ever. In 1960, the theatre closed permanently.
The Bonaccord was much larger and better theatre.
The Bonaccord, as I got older, I went there probably more often because we had a permanent booking. And you could do that in those days.
The Bonaccord Theatre was in joint operations with the Strand. Instead of having to buy 4 sets of reels with the movies, they'd only get 2.
So they'd have about 6 or 7 reels. Then they'd put them in metal cans, and they're fairly heavy to pick up when you looked at them.
So the boys would have to get on their bicycles and ride like mad in between the 2 picture theatres to exchange the reels of film.
The Felix opened in Pier Avenue, Shorncliffe, also operated by George Hancock, owner of the Bonaccord. In the 1930s, it was closed for renovations and then renamed the Strand. It closed its doors in 1959. The building was moved to Northgate and became Mansell's Furniture Factory.
The Strand was nicknamed a hen house.
There might have been a few bird lice from the pigeons nesting in the rafters up on top.
When it went to cinema scope, the screen was wider, so the curtains wouldn't go back far enough. So the owner of the theatre used to employ a schoolboy to climb up in the rafters to push the curtains back. But even funnier was, on a Saturday matinee, all the rest of his mates in the audience with their Shanghais and try and ping him when he was up in the rafters moving the curtains.
The Beach Theatre opened in 1924, making it the second picture theatre in Sandgate. It was on the corner of Flinders Parade and 3rd Avenue. It had a large gallery and a stage complete with curtains. The ceiling was timber lattice. The walls had large lattice windows for ventilation and heavy curtains for matinee sessions and when it rained. For several years, a large searchlight was mounted on the roof to attract cinema goers. George Hancock operated the theatre in the 30s when the Bonaccord underwent major repairs. But then the Beach Theatre closed. Around 1938, the artist Ian Fairweather lived there as caretaker. Then in 1948, the Hamer family, previous owners of the Mayfair, operated the theatre. Then the building was leased to the Police Citizens Youth Club. On the 13th of April 1978, it was completely destroyed by fire.
We had a theatre down on the beach called the Beach Theatre, which it finished up a skating ring and various other things.
When we moved to 3rd Avenue, my mum's dad, George, and he'd sneak into the movies and sit in the aisle, cross his paws and watch the movies. Mr. True, he was the chap on the door. He was determined to get George out, so he turned all the lights up. And he hunted George. And while Mr. True was going down, George was going up, sort of thing, and vice versa. So in the end, he had to give it away and turn everything off and start the movies, and George had come out and cross his paws and watch the movie.
The Mayfair opened in 1934 on the corner of Brighton Road and 2nd Avenue and was the last theatre to open in the area. It was a small, cosy theatre with the best sound. The owner, Francis Hamer, excelled at giving his patrons the best cinematic experience, installing a high-quality photophone audio system. It was a popular theatre and was greatly missed when it ceased operations in 1947. It then became the Lacoste Shirt Factory in 1948, then Bayards from around 1962 to 1982.
The Mayfair was in amongst the shops. A whole group of us used to all go, either Saturday afternoons.
That was probably the poshest theatre we had in Sandgate.
The building was demolished in 1985, removing the final evidence of a thriving movie-going pastime in the Sandgate area. The growing popularity of television saw the demise of picture theatres throughout Australia.
Seems strange when you think about it that a small place like Sandgate having 4 theatres.
They went into decline then because we had at Boondall we had a drive-in theatre, and people used to flock to that then and fill the boot up with people and then let them out once they got inside.
My name is Murray Downs, and I was born, I'm 89 years of age now. I'll be 90 in a month's time. I was born in 1929.
My name's Ivy Hillstan, nee McEwen. I was born in 1932 and I'm 86.
My name is Bert James Midgley. I'm 90 years of age gone.
My name is Jim McAlpine. I was born in 1933. I'm 86.
Yvonne Darcy, and I was born on the 8th of October 1931.
My name is Thelma Webb. Well, I'm 90, and I was born in 1929.
Margaret Jays, I was born in 1936, 83.
I'm Pam Burney and I'm the president of the Sandgate Historical Museum.